All right, y'all. I saw this video on the Harlan Highway podcast. I didn't know who this was. I guess he's an actor. And the other guy used to be a skateboarder and a radio host and whatnot. He was in some movie. What's it called? I'm not big on movies, but he's in this movie called Rocket Man. Y'all seen this movie? I have not seen this movie. I have not seen Rocket Man. Never heard of it, actually. People are saying it's a good movie. I've never seen it. Half Baked. Never seen Half Baked. Dumb and Dumber. I know of Dumb and Dumber. Never seen Dumb and Dumber. Same with Half Baked. I've never seen Half Baked either. I've never seen any of these movies. Except Puppy Dog Pals. That's the only thing I've seen from this selection is Puppy Dog Pals. But anyway, that's beside the point. The reason I wanted to show this video is because I thought it was a really cool representation of God's voice versus the devil's voice. And this is a very basic example of what they're about to walk through. But I think sometimes we need to be reminded that God's will for us is life and life more abundantly. That's what he says. He says he comes to give us life and life more abundantly. The enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. But God is the good shepherd. So we have to understand that. And this podcast, I don't know if these dudes are Christians or not. I don't know. Probably not, if I had to guess. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just looking, and I listened to most of the podcasts, and it was kind of crazy. And it's one of those podcasts where I think they're both comedians. So they're just going back and forth and joking. And as soon as they get serious, one of them tells a joke and they just go down this path of a joke. And it's completely unserious the whole time. This was one of the only moments where it was really serious. And they just so happened to be talking about God. All right. So let's listen to this and then let's have a conversation afterwards.
This is called Words from a Wooden Shoe.
Oh.
What's inside is words. You pull a word out and see if there's a story from your journey, whether it's yours or someone you knew or something you saw, and share it with my 9 viewers.
Okay.
If you'd indulge us. Here we go. Words from a Wooden Shoe. Jason has pulled a word. What do we got, my guy?
Satan.
Really?
Yes.
Do you have a story? Wow.
Satan. I used to hail Satan.
What do you mean? He drove a
I
taxi?
had it tattooed on my neck, Hail Satan, because I believed that I was not worth it, and the only thing that would help me is the dark side.
Wait, so you had a tattoo and you had it removed?
I still do.
What's it say?
Hail Satan.
Wait, tell me again why you have it?
Because I hated God so much that I wanted people to see that I think God is a pussy and Satan rules.
Wow.
You don't believe that, do you?
Not anymore. I taught to God, and God forgave me for the tattoo.
He did?
Yeah.
He's very loving.
He is.
Isn't that great?
A lot of people say that he's
God.
not, because there's a lot of people speak on his behalf that seem a bit mean.
Yeah.
But if you actually talk to the guy personally, he's pretty good.
Dude, I love it that you found God.
Are we high-fiving?
No, we're connecting.
Oh, okay,
I want to feel the power of God channeling through you.
You
For
feel it?
real.
You feel it?
Let it go.
Okay.
Look me in the eye. Isn't it beautiful?
You do too.
God.
It's real and full of love.
That was a beautiful moment.
Yeah.
Good
I love
for
you,
you.
man.
I love that you did that.
Yeah.
You
Yeah, 'cause
went into the dark and you found the light.
Yeah, and I couldn't if I hadn't taught to God. If
Yeah.
you tried to do that, I would have punched you in the face.
Finally. God works in mysterious ways.
Yes, they say that. But yeah, he's shown me the light.
Just hang with me for a second. I know they're kind of goofy, but just hang with me. He's about to get to the story where God talks to him.
I talk to him all the time now. He makes decisions on my behalf, and every time I listen to his call, it was the right call.
Isn't it funny how he answers?
He didn't, and you know why? Because I had a direct line to Satan, and he was pretty pissed.
He was
about
blocking it.
Yeah. Yes. And then I released it.
Good.
I released him.
Yes.
Because he was in me. He came through the back of my,
He'll get
my
in.
spine. And then I had this lady over the phone that released him.
Yeah.
And he came out. And then I actually got knocked out. And when I woke up, Tony Hawk was there. And he was like, hey, man, why are you here? And I was like, to do a podcast. And he's like, okay, you're here. But apparently before that, when he asked me that, I said, I don't know. And then my brain came back. And then when I got in my car to drive home, Satan said, hey, man, kill yourself. And I was like, that's harsh. I have a lot of work on my plate. Like, that seems like I got things to do. And he was like, no, seriously, kill yourself. And I was like, stop saying that. And he kept saying it for like 3 days. And I was like, okay, I've got brain damage and this is the end for me. And then another voice said, you don't have to listen to that anymore. Like, I'm here. Can you hear me? And I was like, yes, I can hear you.
Wow.
And then that quietened the kill yourself voice.
Yeah.
And then I realized that the voice that was telling me not to kill myself and not to give up and to like push forward was God. And then since then, it's like, hey, man, like, do you want to go to this party and like film like sex things or something? And God goes, don't do that, dude.
Yeah.
You've been through enough. You don't need to do that. Or do you want to smoke with this person? And I'm like, oh, yeah. And then God goes, no, dude, you've had enough of that. You need to stop.
So he's helped.
He said, yeah. But God said, nah, bro, you had enough of that.
Guide you.
Yeah.
I
think it's like I could cry now of joy because God loves
I love
me.
it. Yeah. It's almost, I'm not going to say almost, it's more fun than the devil because there's a purity to it, right?
And I didn't think he had the talent. I thought God was like, because sometimes, like, you know, Christian rock sucks.
Yeah.
But, like, devil metal is badass.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't think God has any talents.
Right.
And Satan does.
Yeah.
And then turns out, nah, God has more talent. Because in the end, if they really fight, I mean, it's pretty obvious. God wins.
Easily.
Because he's a better fighter. And if you're a better fighter, does that not make you more talented?
Yeah.
So God's more talented than the devil. That's why the devil lives down here, because he's been beat down, dude.
Crushed.
God's on the top in the castle smoking doobies, just kinging it.
Doesn't even.
All right. God's not smoking doobies, but here's the point I want to make. Because I'm telling you, with these dudes, you can't keep them serious for more than 3 minutes. They going to go off in some crazy directions. But I enjoyed what he said from the standpoint of something happened. I don't know what he was describing because it's hard to take these dudes serious, but it seemed like there was one moment of seriousness. But it seemed almost as if he was describing some type of deliverance that he was going through. Because then he talked about being with Tony Hawk and whatnot. And then he said he got in the car. And then when he's in the car driving on the freeway, the devil starts to talk to him, right? And the devil is basically telling him like, hey, off yourself. And then he said that this went on for 3 days. So he's being tormented by demons for 3 days, trying to get him to off himself. And then finally, there was a voice that came through that was distinctive and different. And it said, you don't have to listen to that anymore. Right? And I think it's important because a lot of people ask, how do you hear God's voice? And I think there's many different ways for us to hear God's voice. I think one of the starting places that we have to be very mindful of is knowing the character of God. Because the more you know somebody, the easier it'll be for you to recognize their voice when they speak. And the same is true with God, you know? The more you're in his word, the more you understand the will of God, what he actually wants for you, the more you'll start to identify when he's speaking to you versus when the devil is trying to tempt you. Because even he was saying that he would get these urges to go and party. Like somebody would hit him up and tell him, hey, let's go party. Let's go, get with all these women and do this crazy stuff. And then God would say, no, you don't need that. You've had enough of that. Turn away from that. Or his friends might hit him up and say, hey, let's go smoke. And he was very honest. He said, yeah, I want to, but I'm not going to because God told me to be done with that life. Whereas the devil is encouraging you to go back into that sin. The devil is encouraging you to indulge in your flesh. All these activities that ultimately are going to make you unhealthy, both physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, all of that, those are going to be the activities that the devil is going to promote and tempt you with. On the flip side, the life-giving activities, the things that give you true fulfillment in the spirit and are also healthy for you in all the ways that we explained, those are the things that God is going to put before you. And we always have a choice. We always have a choice. You got to remember, the devil can't make you do anything. The devil can tempt you. The devil can put an enticing offer in front of you, but he can't make you do anything. He doesn't have that much power. Stop giving him that much power because he doesn't have that much power. So stop thinking that he does. He doesn't. God gives us a choice. He gives us free will. Now, God can make you do whatever he wants to make you do. That's God. But at the same time, God gives us free will to make a decision, to make a choice, to make the right choice. And sometimes it might feel like, and this is true for myself in my own life, in my own walk with God, and in my own struggle, sometimes it might feel like the offer that the devil presents to you is so enticing that it just feels like the only way out is to indulge, if that makes sense. The only way to get this feeling of temptation away from me is to indulge in it. That's one of the biggest lies that the devil will use to get you back into sin that God has already taken you out of. To make you feel like the only way to get rid of that temptation and that feeling is to do the thing, and then you'll feel better, and then you can go on about your day. But God always gives us a way out. Even when the temptation feels so overwhelming, God is always standing right there offering us a way out. There's always a back door. We just have to ask for help. And God is there to open it. So let me read this real fast. This is from John 10. Wonder if I should go full screen. I'll keep it like this. This is John 10. It says, I am the good shepherd. Truly, truly, I say to you, he who does not enter the sheepfold by the door, but climbs in by another way, that man is a thief and a robber. But he who enters by the door is the shepherd of the sheep. To him the gatekeeper opens. The sheep hear his voice, and he calls his own sheep by name and leads them out. When he has brought out all his own, he goes before them, and the sheep follow him, for they know his voice. They know his voice. A stranger will not follow. A stranger they will not follow. I'm sorry. But they will flee from him, for they do not know the voice of strangers. This figure of speech Jesus used with them, but they did not understand what he was saying to them. Verse 7, so Jesus again said to them, truly, truly, I say to you, I am the door of the sheep. All who came before me are thieves and robbers, but the sheep did not listen to them. I am the door. If anyone enters by me, he will be saved and will go in and out and find pasture. Verse 10, the thief comes only. The thief comes only. Stop making justifications. Stop trying to make excuses for sin that's present in your life. because the fact of the matter is the thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. That's it. There's nothing good to be had in that lifestyle. There's nothing good. I know we all stumble and fall. None of us are going to reach sinless perfection, but we need to shift our perspective. We need to understand that it's a war, a daily war that we are involved in. And sometimes we might lose some battles, but don't let that loss turn you back into the lifestyle that God delivered you out of. The thief comes only to steal, kill, and destroy. I came that they may have life and have it abundantly. I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd lays down his life for the sheep. You see the difference, even in the story that he was talking about, where he had these demons telling him to off himself. The enemy will tell you to off yourself. But Jesus is the good shepherd. He laid down his life for you. You see the difference? The enemy wants you to die in your sin. Jesus died for your sin so that you could be made righteous, so that you could be saved. There's a difference. Massive difference. So from the standpoint of recognizing God's voice, we could talk hours about this. But I think it really starts with genuinely getting to know God. And that comes through spending time in the Word, in prayer, worshiping, sitting in that quiet place in prayer and worship, and not leaving until God speaks to you, no matter how long that might be. Don't leave until he speaks to you. And he will speak to you. Some of us are just impatient. Some of us have just developed ADHD because we scroll on our phone all day and get instant hits of dopamine. And as soon as we put the pipe down and try to sit in prayer and try to sit in meditation, our brain is so hyperactive that we can't focus on God because we're so distracted. Let me know what y'all think, man. I'm gonna start posting a lot more on my second channel about these type of conversations. I'm thinking like how to hear God's voice, how to know if you're truly a Christian, how to be a living sacrifice, how to overcome lust. Like I have a whole bunch of things that I want to talk about. I'm gonna start doing it on my second channel. So let me know what y'all think. Get in my comments, like this video. I'm out, y'all.